Okay, so welcome to class, everybody. Let's take a look at what's going on in the picture here. I have a link. If you would like to see the picture up a little closer, I'll drop that in the chat. Okay, here we go. So what's going on in this picture? So let me know, what do you guys think? And again, I want us to look at that idea of evidence. So we're making some inferences. What details are supporting that? So what do we see happening here?
Someone's playing the piano.
Yeah. Where are they playing the piano?
Outside.
How do you know that, Daniel?
Because of the concrete on the ground.
Right. Any other reasons?
The lighting. It looks like there's trees.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sophia. Is that what you were saying too?
Oh, yeah. I was just saying it looks like there's like light shining.
It's the shadows, the light, the patterns, maybe the leaves, the trees. So we're familiar with that. So we're assuming this is outside. Could be a street, could be a sidewalk, could be a park. In addition to the guy playing the piano, we've got some people under the piano. What's going on with them?
They're just some weirdos.
Where's your evidence, Daniel?
They're under a piano.
I thought it was a dog, miss. What the heck?
What is Say again?
I thought it was a dog.
Oh, well, if you get up closer, whoops, you can't see. I think that's a man.
It's a little family.
And that's an inference too, Isis. What makes you think they're a family?
I mean, it could be like people that really know each other, or they could be like family by blood, but they're like, like they have their arms around each other and stuff.
Yeah,
and really
I noticed that too. I agree with you. I think they're a family. I don't know because I haven't seen the caption, but I think so because of the way that they're interacting with each other and the fact that these are kind of little people and this is a big person. I imagine this is a father and son, but I don't know. Okay, so good job. We'll find out what this caption is and what's really going on. I had somebody in another class suggest that maybe one of them was deaf and so they couldn't hear the music, but maybe they could feel the vibrations a little better if they were under the piano. I think that's a really interesting thought. So
yeah, that's what I thought they were doing at first, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe, and that's what a beautiful way to experience music if that's true. I love that. If it's not true, I kind of want it to be true because I think it's like really cool. Okay. So we're going to go back to characterization today. And I hope you guys were able to read the short story, The Story of an Hour. If not, you're going to need to have it read for one of the activities you're doing today. So you'll have a little bit of homework. Speaking of homework, let me talk to you guys about grades really quickly. I've decided I'm not taking off any points for late work until we go back in person or until you have the ability to. So that's going to be like October 5th. All right. That's when you can come to school if you want, or you can stay virtual. Once everybody has access to reliable technology, which you would have if you decided to come in person, then I feel like I can start counting assignments late if you turn them in late. Right now, I don't know why they're coming in late. You could have technology problems. You might have missed class for some reason. And since I don't know that, I don't feel right punishing you for that with your grades. That's not fair, I don't think. So the easiest way to do that is nobody gets a late work penalty. But once everybody has access to reliable technology, then it is kind of on you to turn it in on time. I don't want to punish anybody for not having access, okay? All right, so let's review. What we talked about last class were the three types of characterization, three aspects of it. There's the physical, the emotional, and the psychological. We said we wanted to be as precise as possible with our characterization, and we don't want to limit the number of descriptors or descriptions. And we also don't want to rely on synonyms. And I had you guys practice this with a family member, a close friend. What we're going to do today is we're going to watch the next video. And we're going to fill out a character chart of Mrs. Mallard, and we're going to add to our interactive notebook. So let's do that now. Go ahead and pull up your interactive notebook. You can get it off your Google Drive, which for me looks like this. It's a mess. And instead of assignments, I type in the word interactive. And you can see all the copies of the interactive notebook I have. I'd have to spell it correctly though. There you go. So here are all the copies of the interactive notebook, and I would pick this one because that's my class copy. And here it is. Okay, so when I start the interactive notebook, I'm probably on this page, and I want to scroll down a page, and I'm going to click present, which is what makes this notebook interactive. I'm going to come over here to analysis, and I'm going to click on it, and there are my notes from last class. I'm going to turn the page, which I can do by clicking this arrow. And now I'm on the next page. And here I'm going to stop presenting. So I'll click exit at the bottom, or I'll hit escape. And I'm going to draw a text box. I actually am going to do two, right? One for the text, which is this one, and then one for S.T.E.A.L. So while you guys are doing that, I'm going to talk to you guys about S.T.E.A.L. I don't know if you use this acronym or not, but I think it's really useful. It's how we can learn about characters, and we learn about it through what they say, which is the S, or dialogue. We learn about it through the character's thoughts, which is the T. We learn about it through the character's effect on others, and that's how other people treat that character, or what other characters say about our character. We can learn about it through the A, which are the actions of the character, and we can learn about it through L, which are his looks, or the character's appearance or description. So that's S.T.E.A.L. Say, think, effect on others, actions, and looks. So I want you guys to put this in your reader's writer's notebook.
I can't
Right.
find notebook.
Did you go into your Google Drive?
No.
It's fine. Did you find it now, Durga? You're on mute, darling. Okay.
I'm going there.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. You don't gotta wait on me. I'll get there.
Okay. Well, hopefully everybody is copying these notes down in it. So that's. To those of y'all having trouble with the internet or your technology, I completely understand. Well, y'all were here when my internet absolutely crashed and it took me 10 minutes to get back on. I have a lovely 10-minute video of Daniel eating is what my computer ended up recording. So it's fine. That's why I record the videos. And Daniel, I did cut you out the 10-minute eating segment when I posted the video. So you guys are, that's why I record them. So if you miss class, you can still get class that way. And I upload the slides so you can still see what we're doing. Okay, does anybody need more time to type out S.T.E.A.L? Sure. Okay, let me give you guys another couple minutes. I'll just also say that I think S.T.E.A.L is really effective, not just for characters in a novel or story, but for people, right? I know a lot about people by the way they talk to other people, what they say, by the way they act, by the way other people react to them, right? Um, by the way they carry themselves, by their appearance. And I can't really see what they're thinking, but once they open up about their thoughts, that's how we get to know people. So characters, people, S.T.E.A.L is a very useful acronym for those. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to switch over to the AP Classroom video, which you guys, I've assigned it to you on your AP Classroom. So if you go there, it'll be on your dashboard. You'll see it as something that you can watch. We're going to watch it together. I'm just letting you know in case something happens and we can't watch it together. And I'm going to pause partway through it so you guys can work on a character chart. So I'm going to mute myself and then we will start watching this video.
Welcome back to AP Daily. If you're watching these videos sequentially, last time we spoke about characterization and we talked about the words that we use to describe characters. We're going to take that knowledge and now we're going to extend it as we delve into literature. I'm glad you're joining me. My name is Mr. Carlos Escobar from Miami, Florida, from Felix Varela Senior High School. I'm glad to have you guys back with me today. And like I said, we're going to be delving deeper into characterization. We spoke about vocabulary last time, but now we're going to talk about the sources from which we draw to learn about characters. And then we're going to apply that knowledge to Mrs. Mallard in Kate Chopin's 1894 short story, The Story of an Hour. So let's review. We've looked at this in the prior video, and I hope that you pause and look at that video if you haven't done so, because we spoke about the acquisition of vocabulary and the adjectives that we use to describe characters. But this time we're going to extend that knowledge and we're going to talk about who or what we focus on to learn about characters. And essentially, we're going to look at the narrator's description of the character. We're going to see what other characters say about that character that we are studying. And then, obviously, we're going to focus on the character that we're examining. And we're going to look at that character's actions, thoughts, and dialogue with other characters. And these are going to be the sources of characterization. So let's go ahead and practice. And like I said, we're going to focus on Mrs. Mallard. So I would like for all of you to pause this video, go to that URL, go to that website, and read Kate Chopin's short story, The Story of an Hour. But before you do that, I want to give you something to do as you're reading. If you read actively, if you read with a purpose, then you're always going to be much more successful that first time you encounter text. So on the left-hand side, I have returned to the narrator, what other characters say about the character, and Mrs. Mallard's actions, thoughts, and dialogue, which are the sources of characterization that we just discussed. And then I've added a place for you to include quotations. And then under characterization, this is where you're going to put your adjectives, your interpretation, if you will, of what the quotations are leading you to understand about the character. So go ahead and pause this video, read the short story, and complete as much as you can on this chart. Go ahead and pause.
Okay, so that's what we're going to do. If you go into our AP Classroom and you pull up classwork, you will see characterization. And if I open that up, did I not? Okay, hang on. I'm so sorry. It's called S.T.E.A.L is what I want you to see. So hang on. I'm moving it over right now. So if you go into our AP Classroom and go under Unit 1, you will see S.T.E.A.L. And there'll be a chart there that I want you guys to pull up. And In that chart, you'll see the story of an hour. Okay, so let me, and it'll look just exactly like Mr. Escobar's chart on the video. And what I want you to do is I want you to fill that out. And for at least 3 different things. You're going to end up filling out the whole thing. So get done what you can get done. You might need a copy of the story. So I'm going to copy the story and put it into the chat for you guys. Sorry, this is the tab I want to share with you guys. Okay. And for this one, I want to do. Here comes the text into our chat so you can pull it up. And in just looking at the very first line of the text, if I were to pull it up, it says, knowing that Mrs. Mallard was afflicted with heart trouble, great care was taken to break to her as gently as possible the news of her husband's death. So I'm just going to pull the first part of that, and I'm going to insert it into the narrator's description of Mrs. Mallard. And what information does it give me? Well, that tells me that she is weak, tells me she's sickly, it tells me that she is delicate. Okay, and so that's what I'm looking for you guys to do. I'm looking for you to make at least 3 entries right now before we continue with the video. Anybody have any questions about where to find anything? Okay. I'll give you guys a couple minutes to do that.
What did you say the chart was?
The chart is in our AP classroom. So if you go to
or on Google Classroom. Oh.
I'm sorry, Google Classroom. Y'all, I'm so sorry. I really was up till 3:30 watching that board meeting, and I'm just babbling. I'm misspeaking all over the place. It's in our Google Classroom.
Okay, I found
It's
it.
under S.T.E.A.L. Okay, thank you. Okay, maybe another 60 seconds, and then we'll go back to the video. Okay, go ahead and start wrapping up whichever one you are on, and I will transition us back to the video. I'm going to mute myself.
Pause now. This video, read the short story, and complete as much as you can on this chart. Go ahead and pause now and then hit play once you're ready to join me again. I want to show you what I've come up with. And I must stress this to you. I don't want you to feel bad if I'm focusing on different aspects of the text or if I'm finding different quotations that are significant. This short story is so compact and so powerful that you can select almost any sentence, any word, and delve into characterization. So these that I'm So these that I'm choosing are just examples. I really could have chosen any other. So I don't want you to feel bad. I don't want you to feel like you missed out on something great. I'm sure that what you have is even better than what I have. All right. But these are the ones that I'm going to focus on today. Knowing that Mrs. Mallard was afflicted with a heart trouble, great care was taken to break to her as gently as possible the news of her husband's death. So what is significant about that quotation? Well, I'm interested in the fact that she's afflicted with heart trouble. That tells me something about her. Let's look at the second one. She was young, with a fair, calm face, whose lines spoke repression and even a certain strength. What would you highlight in that sentence? I chose fair, calm face, repression, and strength. We're not going to get into function yet. We're not going to delve too deeply into contrast. That's going to be something we're going to say for another video. But notice the words repression and strength. Do you see them at odds with each other? That's exciting. That's where we're going to get into some nuance of characterization. Let's look at the next one. We have a quotation from Mrs. Mallard. Free body and soul, free, she kept whispering. This notion of this woman whispering free body and soul free when, and this isn't a spoiler because I asked you to read the story first, she just received news of her husband's death, and yet she is excited about the fact that she's now free. So what does that say about her? There was a feverish triumph in her eyes, and she carried herself unwittingly like a goddess of victory. I want to focus on the triumph. I want to focus on this image of the goddess of victory. What does that say about her? Well, I'm going to return to, I'm going to take all these quotations and all this highlighted material, and I want to turn to the table that we were creating. And I'm not doing all the work for you. I'm here to expose you to some things, but you have to do the hard work. You have to delve into that text. So I'm merely giving you some aspects of what should be in the table, hoping that you now go ahead and complete it for yourselves. I want you to notice, though, the words that I have chosen based on the quotations that I selected to um, represent or to describe Mrs. Mallard. She seems to be sickly, weak, triumphant, and liberated. This is important because what we are essentially doing is we're building vocabulary to describe characters. We are looking at different sources within the story to learn about that character. And then we are putting it all together in this chart to ultimately be able to write a very successful essay on characterization. but one step at a time, and we're always going to get there, and we're going to be successful. So thanks for joining me. I hope to see you for your next video.
Okay, so I'm sorry about the little technical difficulty, but hopefully that makes sense to you guys. What you'll be doing is finishing filling out that chart. So if you haven't read the story like I asked, you'll need to do that and then complete the chart. But that's only one thing you've got to do today. Let's talk about the second thing. The other thing you're going to do for me is you're going to go back to your college essay. I have gone through everybody's college essay submission if you sent it to me before last night, and most of them were not specific enough, so I sent them back to you, right? There'll be a comment on the Google Classroom, and I've asked you to refill out the form and resubmit it. You only have to fill out the part that I'm asking you to be more specific on, okay? But this essay is about a moment where you grew from something you were before to something you are now. And a lot of you guys talked in general terms about growing and maturing, but a lot of you did not focus in on that moment. I want to know what that moment was for you. Was it a conversation with somebody? Was it a choice that you had to make? Was it the lyrics of a song? There's a moment where you were like, huh, I'm different. I'm not reacting the way I was before. I'm making a different choice. I'm looking at things differently. That's what I want you to zero your focus in on. So if I asked you to be more specific, it's not because I think you have a bad idea at all. It's because it will be a better essay if you can focus on this moment of growth and change, okay? So I sent you guys some feedback on the classroom. Take a look at that. And then here's what you're going to do. With your college essay, you're going to start writing a story. How many of you guys have heard of the hero's journey before? Anybody? Okay, the hero's journey is a pattern we find in stories, like every story, all right, especially superhero stories. I just watched the Black Panther the other night. A lot of us probably did. After the death of Chadwick Boseman, right? But that story for sure follows this hero journey. Star Wars, Star Trek, gosh, everything. So I'm going to play this video for you. It's pretty short, but it's going to give you an idea of what a journey story looks like. And that's essentially what you're writing here. You're writing your journey from who you were before to who you are now. So take a look at this video. I'll mute myself and then we'll talk.
What do Harry Potter, Katniss Everdeen, and Frodo all have in common with the heroes of ancient myths? What if I told you they are all variants of the same hero? Do you believe that? Joseph Campbell did. He studied myths from all over the world and published a book called The Hero with a Thousand Faces, retelling dozens of stories and explaining how each represents the monomyth or hero's journey. So, what is the hero's journey? Think of it as a cycle. The journey begins and ends in the hero's ordinary world, but the quest passes through an unfamiliar, special world. Along the way, there are some key events. Think about your favorite book or movie. Does it follow this pattern? Status quo, that's where we start. 1 o'clock, call to adventure. The hero receives a mysterious message, an invitation, a challenge. 2 o'clock, assistance. The hero needs some help, probably from someone older, wiser. 3 o'clock, departure. The hero crosses the threshold from his normal, safe home and enters the special world and adventure. We're not in Kansas anymore. 4 o'clock, trials. Being a hero is hard work. Our hero solves a riddle, slays a monster, escapes from a trap. 5 o'clock. Approach. It's time to face the biggest ordeal, the hero's worst fear. 6 o'clock. Crisis. This is the hero's darkest hour. He faces death and possibly even dies, only to be reborn. 7 o'clock. Treasure. As a result, the hero claims some treasure, special recognition, or power. 8 o'clock. Result. This can vary between stories. Do the monsters bow down before the hero, or do they chase him as he flees from the special world? 9 o'clock. Return. After all that adventure, the hero returns to his ordinary world. 10 o'clock. New life. This quest has changed the hero. He has outgrown his old life. 11 o'clock. Resolution. All the tangled plot lines get straightened out. 12 o'clock. Status quo, but upgraded to a new level. Nothing is quite the same once you're a hero. Many popular books and movies follow this ancient formula pretty closely, but let's see how well The Hunger Games fits the hero's journey template. When does Katniss Everdeen hear a call to adventure that gets the story moving? When her sister's name is called from the lottery. How about assistance? Is anyone going to help her on her adventure? Hey, Mitch. What about departure? Does she leave her ordinary world? She gets on a train to the capital. Okay, so you get the idea. What do you have in common with Harry Potter, Katniss Everdeen, and Frodo? Well, you're human, just like them. The hero's journey myth exists in all human cultures and keeps getting updated because we humans reflect on our world through symbolic stories of our own lives. You leave your comfort zone, have an experience that transforms you, and then you recover and do it again. You don't literally slay dragons or fight Voldemort, but you face problems just as scary. Joseph Campbell said, "In the cave you fear to enter lies the treasure you seek." What is the symbolic cave you fear to enter? Auditions for the school play? Baseball tryouts? Love? Watch for this formula in books, movies, and TV shows you come across. You will certainly see it again, but also be sensitive to it in your own life. Listen for your call to adventure. Accept the challenge. Conquer your fear and claim the treasure you seek. And then do it all over again.
Okay, so that's how I want you to think about your narrative that you're writing, your moment of growth. That's you being in the world, making this journey toward change, and returning back to the world where you started, but different. A changed person, a person who's grown. That's what the colleges are looking for when they read your essay. Okay? So I want you to review your submissions, make sure that you've been as specific as possible. And then I want you to write all of the moments that you think are involved in this essay. And you're going to write them on slides. And then you can take those slides and you can move them around, kind of like they are note cards, right? And you can put this note card on top, and then this card is on top, and then this card is on top. Okay, so Durga, that's a great question. What if the change is negative? Then that's probably, if it doesn't show personal growth, probably not what we want to write about for this essay. You'll want to pick something else because your audience here is a college, and you want that college to accept you and see you as somebody who is going to benefit from the college experience, right? So if you changed somehow into a more closed person, that's not what we want to write. We want to write about being a person who's open to new experiences, a person who's open to meeting new people, a person whose mind is open to new ideas. That's what the college is looking for. Does that make sense? That's our goal. Okay, let me show you in our classroom where you will find the next thing. It's also under Unit 1, and it's called College Essay Moments. And so when you go here, you'll have a slide presentation that you can pull up, and when you do, it will look like this. So you've got your college essay, and you can put your name on here, and then you've got a bunch of significant moments, and then write through it. So I have an example here. It is about me learning how to talk to people who are strangers, okay, which is always uncomfortable, I think. So I write through this moment when I started working at the newspaper, and my editor told me to go do a man on the street interview, go out there into the street and interview people. And this would be me after my growth, because my dad was in the military and we moved around a lot. I had a lot of experience meeting new people because I had to go to a new school every couple of years. We moved around the country, right? So that prepared me for this job where I would have to go out and talk to strangers. So that's a moment toward the end of my story where I'm able to go out and do that. A moment earlier in my story would be when we had moved. Okay, or when my parents told me we were moving. So I just want you to take these moments and write them on the slides, and then you can organize them. Do you want to tell your story in sequential order, first, second, third? Do you want to tell your story at the end? This is how I ended up, but let me tell you how I got here, and then flash back to the beginning. All right, and by writing each moment on a slide, you'll be able to manipulate them, to move them around. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. 1, you're going to finish the Mrs. Mallard characterization chart. And 2, you're going to start writing through the moments of your essay. Okay? We still have plenty of time to work on the essay before they're due. So we're just organizing our thoughts right now. That's all we're doing. Okay? So let me see what you got so I can give you guys some feedback. Those are the 2 assignments you've got: characterization chart and the slides.